Hello, everybody. We're back for episode 5, aren't we, Sam?
Hello, Cheryl. Hello, everybody.
I'm going to introduce this lovely lady in a moment. But going back to episode 3, so we're just going to go away from the classes for an episode because quite a few of you were talking about our chat about screening in terms of cervical and mammograms, and how a lot of my younger clients have their hair extensions, pay me for personal training, do the Botox, the nails, all of that, but they don't do their screening, which is probably the only free thing in life right now. So we have brought this lovely lady, Sally. Sally, who are you? Talk to them.
Hello, my name's Sally. I work for the NHS, I work for the ICB, and I commission cancer services. And we do a lot around awareness and screening for cancer, or pre-cancer even.
Okay, so we'll start with mammograms. I think just because I'm at the mammogram age,
Same.
I've not had it yet, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So first of all, what happens at a breast screening appointment?
I'm like you, I've not had mine yet, and I'm of the age, so I'm waiting too. So when you go for your breast screening appointment, it's actually really quick, really simple. My sister went last time she was at Glenfield, so she went quite recently. She says you're in and out within 7 minutes. Done.
Really?
Literally done.
Don't flat chest me, Sam.
I'm not going to. I'm just going to say a lot of my friends have been getting their tits out in car parks because there's a mobile unit. Sometimes can be found at Asda. Where else is it? There's another car park. Is it?
They pull up most places, really, depending on
like
which area they're
tests.
screening.
Quite a few, yeah.
Put your
So
tit through your window.
So you can go and do your shopping and then get your tits out in the car park.
Do that anyway.
Great, just do it. So yeah, they take you into a little room, top off, and then they take an X-ray of your breast, and then that comes in the shape of it. I think everybody says they squash them, but I also have a friend that said it wasn't as bad as everybody makes out, and it's just and they take a really good picture, like an X-ray of your boob, and then they go read it, and they can see any abnormalities on there. If you get called back, it doesn't always mean you've got cancer. You could have precancerous cells or just something different. So if you get that letter back and it's not normal, it's not to say you've definitely got cancer, but it can detect cancer earlier, which is the key to survival.
That's it. That's what the test is for. So that is the reason the test is so important.
Absolutely, yeah. And ladies 50, so it's for ladies 50 to 71 years of age. And it's a really good test for that, for ladies of a certain breast density, and it gives a really good result. And we're probably a little bit more at risk than other people at that age, so that's why they do it for ladies of that age.
Because of hormones mainly?
Yeah.
Okay. So how often should we check our boobies?
Well, they recommend once a month, but do it more. It's fine. It's not going to hurt.
I'm obsessed with moisturiser, so I pretty much do mine every day. Whenever I'm moisturising, I get a bit more vigorous around my flat breasts.
Yeah.
So women that are nervous and scared, like I will be, I know I will, just because everybody's put the fear of God into me that it hurts.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts.
I mean, I've not heard.
Yeah, go by what Sam's saying.
I'm not particularly scared of pain, to be honest.
It does not hurt at all.
I think if it was barbaric, they wouldn't have it as a screening thing. I think it's uncomfortable at most.
Yeah, but not as uncomfortable as
having
a removal or a lumpectomy and all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So what advice would you give to women who are scared or not attending?
Those women that aren't attending, don't even think about not attending it, because it will identify, if you do have any abnormality, it will identify early, which means that it's more survivable. And it's just, in my opinion, it's non-negotiable. But I appreciate not everybody thinks the same way as me, and not everybody understands. You know, we have that there are barriers for certain people. They can't get to their appointment. They don't understand maybe the letter that's come through the door, or that kind of thing. But if you're looking at this and debating whether to go or not go, it's potentially life-saving.
Take your mate with you.
If you're
Do you know, I had
scared.
an interesting conversation with a client this morning who basically said that she would go if the appointment came through the door. And I kind of hadn't thought about that, but that is a great idea. So, for example, hi, Sam, you're due for your mammogram. We've booked it in for you on September the 8th at 10 p.m. Because for me, it's the faffing about of phoning the line, being caller number 60 billion in the queue. 9 times out of 10, I'll do that whilst I'm cleaning. Then I'll get in the car, then I'll go to work, and then I'll put the phone down.
Yes.
And then that will happen again 5 days later. And I'm in that situation now because I've got a phone in the surgery about a hormone, my whatever you call it, HRT assessment thing. And I just keep forgetting to do it. So that might be, I don't know whether it's something that's ever been spoken about.
I feel a bit
Product
unprepared
placement.
here, but there is, I'm not entirely sure how they call at the moment, because there's been some debate on how they call, and they've done a lot of research. So some people prefer, like, here you go, you're ready for your appointment, please contact us. Other people are, other ways of inviting us, straight, there you go, if this is your appointment, let's do it. And there's been a lot of debate around that, and I'm not 100% what they're doing at the minute. However, what I do know is that it's not like ringing your GP surgery, no disrespect to GP surgeries, it's not that sort of ringing at 8 o'clock in the morning.
So it's a different process.
It's a different, and it's a different sort of department, if you like, from that. So you won't be going through your GP. So I do think, even if you do have to ring, it's not as
I've always
complex.
called through to a direct line and spoke to someone straight away.
Yeah, I think they are very good.
So what changes in our breasts should prompt somebody to make the call if they've not been invited?
So here's a really important point. If you have symptoms, i.e. breast lump or any changes or an inverted nipple or a bit of eczema on your boob or anything like that, any change in your breast, go straight to your GP. Don't be worrying about getting called for screening. Don't be thinking, oh, I'll get my screening letter soon. Go straight to your GP.
So immediately.
Immediately. And then, because screening is for well people, that we identify changes early. If you've got symptoms, that needs checking out straight away, not to wait for your screening. And also, because screening is for well women, you get probably a more urgent approach when you have got something wrong with you.
They tend to get you in pretty quick, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
It's the 2-week wait that I know I spoke to you beforehand about this. That so, for example, I'm 52 now and haven't had my letter. I know other people that live in Groby, for example, who are 53 and have had 2. My sister's Rat B, she's had 2 and she's 54. So I think sometimes it's easy to push people to have the screening, but the service isn't always there, or it's there but not as efficient as we would hope.
Yeah.
So is that just because the system's overwhelmed, or?
There's varying different points to what you've just said. So the one thing is, if the screening round is every 3 years, so you can be invited from the age of 50 to the age of 53, and that's your first appointment in that time frame. And the breast screening service will go geographically around Leicester, Leicestershire and Rutland. So Anstey was due in summertime this year. I believe there's a 3-month delay at the moment with the screening round, which is why there's that issue. That is due to many different reasons. The commissioners, NHS England, are working really hard and really closely with the service to try and shorten that and get them back on track. So it's not something that's been going on for years that the 3 months behind. It's an accumulation of different things going on operationally within the service, but they're working really hard to get it back on track. And obviously looking at any risk stratification around it, etc., which is again being closely monitored over the system, really, the NHS system.
Okay, so I'll talk to you about the text that you sent earlier about the stage 1, stage 2, and why we need to up screening. Is there anything else you want to say about boobies before we move on to foo-foos?
No, I'm quite happy with everything.
Okay, so check your boobs.
Can I just say one thing about checking your boobs? There's 2 websites that are really, really good.
Okay.
Well, there's something called Know Your Lemons app, which is a really good app, and it sends you a little reminder every month to check your boobs. And then there's Copperfield, their website's amazing. And
okay, send me those and I'll add them into the description on this YouTube video. So there'll be a description underneath the the video. So any
Yeah.
websites or anything like that, any links we can add into there.
Shows you how to check them as well,
Oh,
effectively.
brilliant. Because we had some stickers on. There was a time actually, and I was really impressed at, it was when Topshop was at Foss Park, and there was a lady in the changing rooms.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And she was offering to check your boobs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was
Was
really
she
good.
was she meant to be there
No,
employed,
I
or
think
was she
she
just
thinks
sort
she
of?
just worked in McDonald's.
I don't think she was really anything.
In fact, I think it was a man.
I was going to say, I'm glad you said it was a woman then. I was like, right, I
Anyway, I said no. So moving on to the foo-foos. This is a whole different ball game.
Foo-foo,
Pardon the
is that what
pun.
we're calling it?
Vagina.
Vagina.
Well, it's the cervix, isn't it?
It
So
is a cervix, yes.
women avoid it, I think, for obvious
Oh,
reasons.
yeah.
So are more people doing mammograms? Is there a crossover? When do we stop having cervical screening?
Cervical screening starts at the age of 25, and
Yeah.
you get that now, so it's changed a bit. You get it every 5 years, unless they identify HPV, human papillovirus. Don't know if you've heard of that.
Yes.
So you can get vaccinated against that in year 7 at school, boy or girl, and that's how they will eradicate cervical cancer in 2040. Looking good so far. Some of the data coming out at the minute, but I think, I can't remember, again, I was meant to write this down. There's, within a certain 4-year period, they've not identified any cervical cancers in England, and that's down, we think, to the HPV vaccination and people getting their cervical screening.
Had that vaccination. That's good to know.
A few of my clients did. So like 33-year-olds now, 33-year-olds and below. Excuse me. So they're still being invited for cervical screening anyway.
Yeah, still go for your cervical screening. Yeah. So it's the age of 25 to, I'm having to check this because it was all a little bit changed at the minute, and I didn't make it. I think it's 65, 25 to 65 every 5 years, unless you've got HPV and you get a more regular cervical screening. And I think, like you say, we know why people don't do it, because it's getting.
It is invasive.
It's sharing.
Yeah, getting your fanny out.
It is, and it's invasive. But I just, in my mind, I see a conveyor belt. You know, of just women in the smear test position, and the nurses just see a foof, and that's it.
The nurses really couldn't give a shiny shit. They just want to access the cervix to get the cells. Literally, but actually, a friend of mine does do that as a job, and she said pretty much the same. She's seen it all, she's done it all, she doesn't care, she just needs those cells, please, to do her job. That's it. That's
and I think it's always a bit less uncomfortable if you take your socks off. You know, like if you've got your socks on and your knickers off, it's just, it doesn't feel right. So
keep your socks on.
Do you know what I like?
Socks
Do
off.
you think socks on?
Yeah,
I like
socks and shoes on.
I like that comfort blanket.
You like the little
But when they put that over me, that makes me feel better. That makes me feel less
it's definitely
exposed.
a bit dignified.
Yeah.
So what would you say to somebody that's putting off their cervical screening?
I'd say that's very naughty and don't do it, and get to your GP now. However, if you really are so nervous that you don't want to go, and there's some real barriers there for you, because it genuinely there could be trauma and all sorts of things.
Yeah, that's
you know,
the thing.
there is that.
You don't know what a girl's been through already.
Exactly. Go speak to your practice nurse at your GP surgery. They are usually they are really understanding. They're trained to, those ladies that take those samples are trained to talk you through it. They can show you the equipment. They can show you how you're going to lie. Sometimes you might feel a bit more less awkward if you're sitting up rather than lying down. They might be able to accommodate that. They will put in all the adjustments that you might need to make that experience a lot better. And I think I was thinking about this and chatting through this with my mum earlier, and we were like, yeah, when you've had kids, you don't really mind.
That's
so
the
much,
thing. I think when people like us turn up, they're like, oh, it's easy, you know, because we've just done it so often. You know the procedure, you've had a baby, you've had your feet in stirrups, and just get it over and done with.
It's pre that, I think, that really sort of makes people nervous.
And that is, mine was quite recently, and I was in and out in 6 minutes. Done.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then 3 weeks later, 3 weeks later, I have to like go up and I think my cervix points to the back left or something. So I have to like come into shoulder bridge position.
So I do a headstand.
Yeah. 20 burpees.
Splits at a headstand.
Anything for attention. So, does an abnormal result mean cancer?
Nope. It usually means you've got some abnormal cells that need taken away and that will never develop into cancer.
Have you got any stats for us?
No, I've not at the moment. But
okay.
If you go when you're 25 and keep up to speed, it's going to be very rare that. No, I've not got any stats, so I won't go into it. But it's usually pre-cancerous cells that get taken away, and then you're fine. And that's the HPV that can cause that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that the HPV can develop into something more sinister.
I've had
okay.
parts removed from. I think I had about 3 abnormal smear tests. I'm going back to. I just had my second child, Amelia, and I kept having abnormal smears, and I had to go and have a local anaesthetic, and there was a part removed, and the guy had got it in what are these little glass jars that they have?
Like a test tube.
He went, oh, look at that. Oh no, it's bigger than a test tube. Oh, look at that. That's what we've removed. Oh, okay, thank you. but then I went on to have perfectly normal smears.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question. So if you do have one abnormal result, does that often continue through your life, or
no, I don't think it doesn't have to. Yeah.
And having the procedure of having them removed is also simple.
Yeah, most of the time. I'm no expert. Sam probably knows more about that than me. I've had abnormal cells and gone under GA because I'm a wuss and come out and it's all gone and I'm fine and thank you very much and just walked out the hospital. So yeah, it's the early intervention that's required with all this kind of thing. It's keeping on top of your screening and everything that just
I just find it crazy in a non-judgy way that people would not go for their screening. It is so simple and easy, and you can just avoid so much horrible stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay, any other questions on foo-foos?
No, I don't think so.
Anything else before we move on to
what was there anything else I wanted to get out there around foo-foos? I don't think so. One thing that's quite exciting happening in the NHS world is potentially, and this hasn't reached Leicester yet, it's being trialled elsewhere, home testing for HPV, which would be amazing. So all these barriers we talk about having to get your foo out and everything, do it all yourself and test for HPV
I think
yourself.
I've read that.
Yeah, it's coming. I mean,
so
we don't
will
know.
That stop the smear testing at the doctors? Is that instead of or as well as?
That's a really good question, and I don't really know the answer to that. Maybe.
Or would it be probably like the poo test? Maybe the
precursor to it.
Maybe.
I think that potentially might be. If you've got HPV, then you go on to have your cervical screening, maybe. And don't take this as definite. And maybe I can get some answers, and if people are interested, and bring it back. But I think that either way, the barriers will be helped because people won't have to think about. Yeah, definitely.
So the kind of, it used to be like 1 in 5 people are going to get cancer, then it's 1 in 3, and now it's 1 in 2.
God, it's a lot.
It is a scary statistic, but the thing that brings me comfort is that there's constantly new things, and the prognoses are always getting better as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's weird because we talk about, me and my friends talk about, we're in shotgun alley season, 50 to 60. That's where you're going to get some. And if I could over my fingers count people I know that have had cancer, but they're all still with us. They're all still here.
It's been in one of my friends. She was diagnosed a couple of years ago, and she's had a mammogram, but yeah, she's fighting fit.
Yeah,
Mm.
there's a lot, and
Not a mammogram, sorry, a mastectomy. It's just a single mastectomy, and she's
yeah,
fighting fit.
and the whole sort of survivability of that is down to early diagnosis through screening, and also people understanding signs and symptoms as well.
That's what she had, a symptom. So and was dealt with, immediately. And she's fighting fit now. So
Fabulous.
yeah, bit of a shitty year of life, but she's through it. So
Yeah.
okay, moving on to the fit test, not the fit test that is 10 burpees.
That's it.
But the fit test, that is the poo test.
Yes.
I've just got my letter. I've not got the kit yet, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
I've done
I'll make a
mine.
night of it, light some candles,
Yeah.
go into the colander.
Yeah.
Do you want to come
Get
for dinner?
scrape and yeah.
It's not abnormal for me, actually. I used to be a food handler, which I said in episode 4. And I worked for Marks and Spencer's, and it was like every 6 weeks, poo test.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did that?
Why?
Why?
For food points, check for foodborne diseases. Like I had to tell my employer when I was like 4 minutes pregnant because I was being sick. So I was not allowed back in the kitchen. And Marks and Spencer's have very, very strict rules.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, when you're a food handler for big organisations, you have to do a lot of poo tests.
I think that put me off being a food handler.
Yeah, they constantly check. It might not be every 6 weeks. It might be maybe every 6 months or something, but it's frequent. But obviously I've not been a food handler for a long time, so I've not done one for a long time. But tell us more about the poo test.
So, wonderful test. What the poo test does is it detects blood in your poo.
Yeah.
So if you've got a bit of blood in your poo, again, it doesn't mean you've got cancer. Could mean you've got a few piles.
Or beetroot.
Well,
Eating beetroot.
It's not visible to the naked eye, apparently, this blood in the poo. And that, again, can identify early signs. So if you go and get it checked out, if you get a call back and you get it checked out, you could potentially just have polyps. Those polyps can turn into cancer.
Yeah.
And that's why it shows the blood that would show up polyps, and then you get them clipped out and done. No cancer. But they could turn into cancer. So that's in effect what the poo test does.
So the poo test is pretty much like a cervical screening test in that the polyps would be the unhealthy cells.
Yeah.
So the beginning of So, and bright red blood is better than, well, I guess if it can't be seen by the naked eye, it's
you wouldn't that's why the fit test is given out as a screening tool, because you would never see it in your own poo. So you'd never see that symptom of cancer in your own poo. So that's why it's sort of testing it almost before it gets anywhere. So if you have blood in your poo and you think, oh, I'll wait for my screening test, don't do that. No. Go straight to your GP.
Yeah. Does anything with poo develop quicker than cervical or breast? Is there any of the screening types of cancers that develop more rapidly than another?
Potentially, but I don't really. I should have put a caveat at the very beginning of this, saying I'm not a doctor and I'm not a nurse. So this is all sort of stuff that know from where.
Yeah.
But so that's not a question I can probably answer.
Okay, that's fine.
All honesty.
So, what was I going to ask? So, is there a reason that the poo test comes out? I know we've just spoken about the HPV test being done at home. Is there a reason that the poo test comes in the post and the cervical test doesn't? Is it just easier because it's external?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you have to be an expert to get your cervical, get your cells around the cervix,
because it's
with your poo.
deep,
you don't
kind
have
of
to be
thing.
an expert. You dip your poo. That's it. It's a bit more simpler. We can all do that to ourselves. But yeah, it's more of the type of test that makes it easier to do at home. And then obviously this screening program has been set up in a similar way to other screening programs, and it was just felt that was the best way to sort this out for the community, really.
Can I just ask you, I spoke to you a moment ago about this. My mum, actually, it was bowel cancer that she passed away with, and she didn't have any symptoms whatsoever. and it was actually the poo test that showed some abnormalities, and it was from that she then went on to have the colonoscopy, and then she was immediately stage 4, which in bowel cancer, I don't know about the other cancers, but in bowel cancer, that is quite bad.
Yeah. It's scary that, sorry to interrupt, that you go from no symptoms to stage 4, isn't it?
Yeah. It's called the silent killer, though. It's nicknamed the silent killer. Bowel cancer is.
Yeah,
People call it that. But because Mum had that, should I be having more regular screening?
the screening's every 2 years anyway, so probably not. What I would say, again, not being a doctor or a nurse, is that if there are other people, immediate family members of yours, that have had different kinds of cancers or sort of breast and bowel, it's always worth just making sure there's no sort of genetic issue. So just chatting to your GP about potential genomics testing. But again, I'm no expert.
No.
But if there is other people, but that it's really sad, but cancer, you know, it can affect anybody, can't it?
Yes.
And it can just be a one-off in the family.
Yes.
It can be hereditary. It can, you know, there's many different types.
Yeah.
But I would say if there's any other cancers in your family,
Yeah.
then it might be worth just having a chat with your
Yeah.
GP about genetic
Because I have
testing.
seen all these test kits on the shelves in the pharmacist, and I've thought, oh, should I buy one? But you know, I would
Peace of
probably get a bit
mind.
obsessed with
Yeah.
testing.
Yeah.
I would probably start doing that every few weeks.
Yeah.
Don't want to get obsessed with it.
No.
That's
And
the
also,
thing, isn't it? Keep it.
I mean, you said your mum probably didn't have any signs
No.
and symptoms. And did she reflect and go, actually, maybe I did have a bit of bloating here and there, and da da da. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did she reflect and go, maybe?
She just said that she was getting a little bit constipated, but she said she thought it was because she wasn't eating as healthy as what she had done.
Yeah.
Because it had been Christmas time and things. And,
Yeah, so life had changed.
Yeah. So she just thought, you know, and that was it. Yeah. But she went on to do the screening, and yeah, the rest was history.
Bless.
So they say.
So we know the answer to this, but let's have a few points and to how we can avoid breast cancer. What really can we do to avoid that?
Check your boobs every month.
Yeah.
Go to your screening. And also on the back of that, I don't know if you've seen the NHS advert, and it says if anything feels different, go to your GP. Yeah. And I think that's a really, really good rule of thumb with anything. Is just if your body feels differently, if something's not, your mum had a bit of constipation, I don't know how long that had gone on for, but if it had gone on for a month or something, get to your GP. And it's just about understanding your body and knowing any changes, and if they're not, you know, just getting to your GP to just get them checked out.
Boobs are a bit lumpy. When I was younger, it all depended what time of the month it was. And I'd be like, oh, and I did go to the GP a few times just to get things checked, because it's not the same every month.
Is there a higher chance? I know that it's hereditary. How prevalent is that? How likely are you?
If it's hereditary.
Because there's 2 types of breast cancer, is that correct?
I think there's quite a few more, to be fair.
So there's one that's
a hormone one.
Yeah, so the hormone related one is where, for example, thankfully this is not the case, but if my mum was to have it and had a double mastectomy, that I would get tested and be recommended to have one.
So that'd be a hereditary one.
Okay.
I might be getting my nicks in a knot as well about this. So I think there might be more than 2 types of breast cancer. But there's plenty of things we could probably overthink and never go to sleep at night about things like this, because and in the job I do, I find out more and more and more and more each day.
Yeah.
But the real sort of basic rule of thumb that we speak, because I go out to events and speak to the community about just making sure that you check for lumps and bumps, blood in your wee, in your poo. obviously skin cancer is another one, as we're sat in the shade with our sometimes. You know, there's varying things, but just if anything's different in your body and you feel that things aren't right, go and get it checked out at your GP.
What about lifestyle changes?
Well, that's where you girls come in, isn't it, quite frankly, because we all know that healthy diet, exercise, moving more and living well is really does reduce your risk of cancer, and not smoking or vaping.
See, I do all of the above. I don't do all of the above. I avoid all of the above. I exercise, I move, I don't smoke, never really have. I don't drink, but my diet is shit.
Oh, is it?
It's terrible. Yeah. I've just been stuffing cookie. I just had a cookie in my mouth now, just before you turned up. I had a protein yogurt and a cookie straight after spin. And now I'm thinking about the Tang Fast sticks that are in the drawer, but I'm not going to do it. I respect myself.
Don't do it. Don't go there.
If there comes a time that I can't exercise, because I know this is not the answer, you still can't. When people say to me, yeah, but you can get away with it, I can't. Nobody can get away with eating Percy pigs for lunch.
No.
So all that they say about you can't out train a bad diet, you can.
Yeah.
You can.
But yeah, you can. But to a point, one thing I do is make sure I get my protein in every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't talk to me about food. So anything else?
Yeah, obviously the no drinking, no smoking. Vaping's become a thing as well.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. So I work with a GP, and it's still obviously being researched, and the long-term effects aren't massively known, but it's looking like it could be a health issue as well. Because things like the shisha pipes that people have in bars, all those can damage your health. So yeah, it's always worth, I suppose, putting anything
that you inhale that's
it's probably
got to be bad. I even feel the effects when I've been to New York. I've got asthma, but yeah, just inhaling that kind of. That's why I like living like in the countryside.
Is there a drop in numbers for screening in different communities? Yeah.
So Leicester city centre is probably the worst area, and that's around people understanding what literature's coming through their door to encourage them to go for screening. The fact that maybe, I don't know, you're on a 0 hours contract and I'm not losing that money to go and get that done. All those kind of things all do contribute to the uptake of screening. Rutland is quite affluent and they have really good rates of uptake.
Oh, okay.
Is that because, I was just going to say it's because it's a wealthier area.
Yeah, it's quite interesting when you look at all the stats. But yeah, sort of the deprived areas of Leicester and Leicestershire are the places. And then another screening that's starting in October is lung cancer screening.
Wow.
Yeah, so from October, fingers crossed, will be lung cancer screening in Leicester, Leicestershire and Rutland, and that will be for people that have ever smoked from the age of 55 to 74 or 75. And you get invited to have a CT scan.
Brilliant.
So because lung cancer is a really big killer, and actually if you have ever smoked, so they're classing ever smokers as people that have smoked 100 cigarettes or more during their lifetime.
What about passive?
Yeah, that'd be me. I used to smoke instead of eat.
I loved smoking, I did.
Have a fag for breakfast.
Yeah.
When I was in my dancing days, we just used to smoke and not eat.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be great though.
Mine would be passive, I think. Like common room at college and the buses, crystals.
I went to Countersthorpe College. We had a smokers' coffee bar.
Yeah, I know.
We had a regular coffee bar. No one went in there. Everyone went in the smokers. That's what started me smoking.
I know.
Just because it was in this coffee bar.
But you might as well. You stink of it anyway.
Yeah.
You could get away with it with your mum and dad. Oh, that bloody bus again, you stink of fags. That's because I've had one.
Because I've just smoked 10 on the way out at the back of the bus.
No, I've never been a real smoker. I've had drags and...
Do you think you've had 100 in your lifetime?
No. Well, what's a night in crystals without cigarettes?
Well, passive smoking.
That's my worry.
Can you gauge passive smoking? So a night out for 6 hours in a smoky environment.
Yeah. Is that a fag?
Would that be a fag? full cigarette? Or
I bet it
be
would, yeah.
two or...
They were talking when they were launching the lung cancer screening, one of the meetings I was in, and they were talking about, well, what about the people that have lived with smokers, or that are we going to get those screened? And we're like, well, we've got to start somewhere, and it's literally as we're starting here because these are people most at risk. But like you say, the passive smokers are going to be at risk as well.
Everyone used to smoke.
Did your parents smoke?
Yeah. I remember my mum making my dance costumes at the machine. Come here, try this on. She'd have a fag, like pinning it on me. And
That's crazy,
my
isn't
mum
it?
and dad both used to smoke in the lounge watching
See,
telly.
my
I'm a nan.
dad's dad died of lung cancer, and my dad's got asthma. I must have hereditary asthma. But that, you know, one of the things I can be thankful to my dad is that it was never in my house. I've never seen my dad drunk, and there was no smoke in my house.
I remember being really little on aeroplanes, and there was smoke
Yeah,
on
yeah.
aeroplanes.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those ashtrays still exist on an aeroplane. That's how old the planes are.
Yeah, I won't fancy
Shout
getting
out
one
to
of them.
Ryanair. So let's wrap it up. Do your screening. And yeah, Sally, you're a fucking star. High five.
High
Love you,
five.
Sam.
Thanks for
Do
inviting
your screening,
me.
y'all. And
Do it.
those links will be in the comment
Yes.
box. Next, episode 6, we're going to talk to Paminda about how exercise has changed for Indian and Pakistani ladies over the years. So that will be an interesting one as well. And then we'll get back. We might get Helen back.
Yeah, we've got a
And
couple of other people
chat
there
some
in
stuff.
the pipeline.
Yeah. I don't want boys. We're not having men.
Oh, we're not.
Nah, boys are not allowed.
Girls only.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for listening. Bye.